Good morning. I am Nishita Kishore, and the topic of my thesis is Lost Identities, Livelihoods, and Ecology, a case of Goa. The thesis deals with the idea of alteration of landscapes happening from the beginning of civilization through various practices which results in the transformation of landscape to settlements, eroding the natural built fabric, heritage, ecology, and therefore causing the disconnect between the settlements and the landscape. This thesis also intends to focus on the communities in Goa who are resisting destructive real estate projects and how do the Goans perceive this and what are their imaginations for an alternative future. Naushi is a typical Goan village with 100 tiny houses and a small tribe of Gauras. The entire Zuari estuary in which Naushi Bay is located, the entire livelihood of the village is dependent on only fishing and fishing related activities. The buildings are illegally constructed, hindering the fish catch of the village. Currently, the village of Naushi is under immense pressure of transformation due to real estate project. These are the livelihood activities happening in the village which are connected to the landscape. Similarly, Dona Paula is also undergoing major transformation which is shift in building typology, eroding the vernacular and traditional livelihood patterns of the place. Now coming to the site, Shiridao is a small village in Goa situated in Taswadi Taluka. It is a coastal village in which earlier the entire village was engaged with only fishing, but now only about 30% of the village is engaged with traditional fishing activity. The settlement along the coast are still engaged with fishing area, whereas the settlement on the hinterland are mostly engaged with estuarine fishing along the wetlands. The village is slowly undergoing major transformation. These are the four zones in the village according to the landscapes. Now, these are the activities taking place in the settlement, show how the spaces in the village are being used for traditional activities and it affects on current typology of settlement. There is a shift in building typology of the village. The spatial and socio-economic structure is also changed because of the transition in peri-urban vicinities because of migrated populace coming in with lack of proper planning policy. With new infrastructure projects coming up illegally along the coast, there is an evident loss of livelihoods, identities, and landscape of the village, followed by change in architecture. To understand the typology of buildings in the village, these houses were documented to see the relationship between the livelihood activities and architectural typology of the buildings. A study of village morphology is done to know how the buildings cluster together, the kind of community spaces created, and the nature of public realm in the village. To get this insight, three clusters were chosen on basis of different types of plant forms. This is a drawing to show how geography and natural phenomena on the morphology shaped the settlement along with influence of culture and economy. This identity map summarizes the relationship of landscapes, identity, and ecology within the village. Restoration of cultural landscape can be done by engagement of people in ecology through personal experiences, recreational spaces and amenities of buildings, and ecological and socially sustainable hub. The programs are as follows: a chart showing the criteria for selection of plots, the village plan with marked sites. The idea is to insert a series of public intervention within the village to continue the current nature of the interface of building and public realm in the village. Accordingly, a village site master plan is made with landscape and built interventions along with a trail to connect these programs. These are the site analysis maps, figure ground, roads, land use, ecology, vegetation, topography, sun path, and wind direction. This is the first site section, which is site A, and the site sections showing the relationship between the estuary and the settlements. These are the site photographs for site B and the respective site sections. The overall view of the site shows how the site sits between the estuary and the sea. The site is surrounded by estuary on one side and sea on another. The entire village has these sensitive ecosystems such as khazans, mangroves, sand dunes, beaches, and hills. The administrative program would be near the entrance, followed by the public recreational and exhibits, and finally going towards the estuary with eco healing programs. The idea is to create a relationship between the public edge and estuarine zone by cascading the building towards the estuary while forming courtyards or pockets of different scales for different kind of spill out spaces. This is how the modification of contours is done according to the building. The landscape of the site is done such that the indigenous trees come next to existing mangroves along the estuary. Sensory flower gardens are placed near the boardwalk, and filtration landscapes like rain garden, constructed wetlands, and butterfly gardens are in courtyards, along with a kitchen garden next to the community kitchen. The total built up area is adhering to the permissible area. The plan cut at 5.5 meter above the sea level shows admin block, community kitchen, and event recreational space. There are three parts. The administrative block has been designed keeping the social aspects into consideration since environment has been always thought of as being alive and independent of human interactions. Local communities depend on small scale landscape activities for their livelihoods and socialize, gather, leading to fundamental social transformations. As communities thrive on traditional and self-sustaining activities, a community kitchen with a kitchen garden promote their local business of food festival while also regaining social, economic and environmental well-being. As the life of villagers are deeply embedded in their daily activities related to landscape, the food stall units are placed next to the community kitchen where not only the villagers but the visitors would also get to experience this participatory process. The public recreational spaces are for the community as well as the visitors to celebrate local festivals, see local handicrafts, and retain the identity of the village. The plan at 8.5 meter above sea level shows the ground floor or reception and lobby, while the upper floors for the rest of the programs. There are the three parts to this plan. Part 1 shows the reception and lobby area along with upper floors of conference and multipurpose rooms. Both these rooms have double heighted spaces with balconies spilling out and looking towards the rain garden. The upper floor of community kitchen has a common dining space along with a viewing deck looking into the double heighted space and the food stall units on the opposite side. The upper floor of public recreational area has a bookstore and an exhibit extending onto the viewing deck which looks onto the outdoor seating and public courtyard on the opposite side. The roof plan shows how the sloping of roofs are done at different levels. Section AA is cut through administrative block and community kitchen comes in elevation. Keeping the nature of build typology of context in mind, important spatial factors like entrance courtyards and balconies are designed for these rooms. Community kitchen, a space which can be shared by all and managed by dwellers, is connected to the admin block through from the upper floor which goes directly to the viewing deck. The materials used for walls are locally available laterite stone blocks. Roofs are made up of Mangalore tiles with steel trusses and jack arches have been used for the slab. This is the exploded axo for the meeting and conference rooms. Section BB is cut through community kitchen, food stall units and public recreational area. The bookstore is a double-heighted space which looks into souvenir shop along with an outdoor reading space. The spatial typology of the building and design strategies employed here create the fertility ground for interaction, stimulating links between people and landscape. The community kitchen and the food stalls have shared spaces with an extension to the kitchen garden. Teakwood rafters are used for the openings and coconut shell filler slabs are used for the souvenir shop. This is the axo showing the placement of teakwood rafters, coconut shell filler slab and bamboo decking. Section CC is cut through other side of the community kitchen, food stall units and the boardwalk in elevation. Domestic life highlights the characteristics of life in a more direct way as compared to political and ritual contexts. These are social practices in small groups of people interacting in person within constraints of the landscape. Bamboo decking along with bamboo columns are used for the viewing deck of community kitchen. This is the axonometric showing the placement of elements in the community kitchen building. Section DD is cut through administrative block and public recreational space. The waiting area and admin cabins are connected with a filtration landscape. The public recreational space has a viewing deck looking onto the outdoor seating and event space which further extends to the boardwalk. This is the water requirement calculation for the building, the water supply diagram, sewage and grey water recycling. Water from toilets passes through ICs to the septic tank. The filtration landscapes filter the grey water leading to the flushing tank. This recycled water is used for irrigation of kitchen garden. Water from sloping roofs go to the rainwater harvesting tank through filter beds and is used for flushing. The rainwater which falls on the plinths and stairs flow into the courtyards, having filtration landscapes from which it goes to the rainwater harvesting tank, which can be further used for irrigation or flushing. The fire system showing placement of fire hydrant and hose reel near each building placed 30 meters apart. The view from corridor going towards admin offices show how the buildings open to the courtyards having the filtration landscapes. This is the view of the rain garden next to the library. The view showing how the admin block and the community kitchen is connected and the kind of activities happening under the roof of community kitchen. This is the internal view of common dining inside the community kitchen building having a double heighted space with the bamboo viewing deck and basalt stone wall. The view from outside the library showing the outdoor reading area and its connection with the public recreational area. The view of the public recreational area with a courtyard for activities and a bamboo viewing deck looking outwards. This is how the entire building sits on site, sensitively connecting the public edge to the estuary. This is an aerial view of the building showing overall activities happening on site. Currently, at global level, there has been degradation and creation of less valued landscapes. The conservation of landscape does not mean only to protect the fabric or create landscapes of aesthetic value, but to also retain the intangible and tangible aspects of communities. Any development in these zones should happen considering the initiatives taken by the community itself, which help them retain their livelihoods, identity, as well as economy. This thesis is a model of how one can intervene sensitively and create interventions which are responsive to the community landscape. Thank you.